Welcome back to Cryptos Are Us. I'm George. We're all George. So, we're starting a new week, and this week is going to be exciting. Bitcoin, Solana, and many others are gearing up for a massive, massive week. Massive gains incoming. So, let's talk about all these things and more. Why are they coming? And why is it going to be a good week? Let's find out. All right, guys. Welcome. The market has just started. Bitcoin is starting the week right around 42,000 this weekend. Pretty uneventful. We had a little rush, a little pump up to like 42.8, but overall we've been going sideways, and that's okay. But there are many reasons why I think this week we're gearing up for something big. Something big indeed. What's going on? So first of all, this week we're going to have a Fed interest rate decision and FOMC statement. And Chair Powell speaks. Obviously, they're all related. Obviously, I don't think he's going to say much in this. Okay, he's not going to cut rates. He's not going to raise rates this time around. But he's probably going to give a little insight into, what has happened for the last, couple months. So I think this could be a big catalyst for this week. If he says something pretty good, pretty dovish, that'd be good. If he's indicating, hey, the things are looking good. Inflation is still down. The economy is still doing well. And, we're thinking about a rate cut later this year. That could send markets roaring upwards. So that could be good. I just don't see him being hawkish this year. He could say we may have elevated rates for quite some time, but I just don't see him being hawkish and say, well, we need to think about extending extended rates until 2025. We're not going to think about cutting until 2025. So, if he does that, maybe he'll turn the market, but I just don't see it. So we'll see. We'll see. That's coming this Wednesday, and I'm not going to be streaming. I'm sick of streaming those FOMC meetings where you have to sit through the reporters asking the same questions over and over and over, and a lot of them are quite stupid questions. But, so not going to be streaming that. Anyways, now we got an update from last Friday. So obviously after market close, we didn't get the updated assets from the fund managers, but now it looks like they are still loading up. And Friday, in fact, we had net positive rather than net negative because grayscale dumping basically softened a lot. But what we do know is this: BlackRock now holds $2.2 billion worth of Bitcoin. Fidelity's at 1.9. Not too far off. They both added a ton, on Friday. A ton on Friday. They increased their buying. ARK and Bitwise both above 500 million. Huge numbers. And Invesco at about 300 million. And then you have Van Eyck and Valkyrie both above 100 million. They are all fantastic. Now, Grayscale did dump some more. But overall, net positive, you look at the very bottom, daily change 309, net positive 309 Bitcoins going into the funds rather than being sold. And that's very different versus the last 4 days. So Monday through Thursday, it was nothing but net negative because of Grayscale, right? So this is another big thing for this week. Grayscale will probably continue to dump, but I think it's going to soften more and more every day until it gets to basically zero. On Friday, it was like 200-something million, mid 200-something million. Today, let's see what happens. If it ends up being low 200s or even 100 millions, then, I would say we have confirmation for sure that grayscale dumping is about to end. And with the other fund managers loading up, that's just going to cause, let's go contribute to the supply shock. Let's just put it that way, right? So we'll see. But I think that is a big thing if Grayscale finally stops dumping hundreds of millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin every day basically since the ETFs, since they debuted, I think that's very, very big. It alleviates most of the selling pressure. Okay, so that's also coming up this week. That's pretty big. That's really, really big if you think about it. Now, outside of these two events, there are, of course, many other great things happening. As for ETFs, you know, Hong Kong is about to get theirs. So you have funds that are applying for spot ETFs in Hong Kong, okay, and in other parts of the world. But not only that, Charles Schwab, many people are thinking that they will be jumping in this space too, right? They're a pure basically brokerage company, but they offer a lot of ETFs of themselves, and many analysts think that they will try to shake up the ETF market with a late entry. So they may be coming in the near future as well. So there's a lot of stuff happening. And lastly, about ETFs, Google may be reversing their policy on crypto ads, and there's rumors that starting today, Google will allow Bitcoin ETF ads to appear. I don't know what kind of volume this is going to bring in, but I'm sure BlackRock and Fidelity and all these other guys, they would love to start advertising their ETFs on Google, right? So that may start. And I don't see why Google would not allow this. I mean, obviously, Bitcoin spot ETFs are a legit thing regulated by the SEC. So there's really no reason why they would not allow this and make more money by doing so. So this could also be a big catalyst starting this week. That's why you see there's a lot of things going on for this week. We just started, but man, there's a lot of things gearing up. I guess we'll just have to see. I guess we'll have to see. As for some longer term positive news about Bitcoin or positive developments, I mean, these are things, part of the growing fundamentals, part of the macro stuff I've been talking about for a long time. Balance line exchanges declined by over 1 million since 2020, and it continues to go down. This is part of the supply shock I was just talking about with the ETFs. If you have a lot of net inflows and you have a lot of circulating Bitcoins going into them, it's just removing from the overall supply, from the circulating supply, right? And ultimately, that's all we care about, supply and demand. When there's more demand than supply, guess what happens? Bitcoin's price goes up. It's that easy. It's that easy, right? And more is being taken off the exchanges. And more is taken off in the OTC market too. So all these big purchases that you see, you can measure it. You could see Coinbase having like $1 billion moved off the exchange. Why is that? OTC market, these big boys need to replenish. Even the OTC market is declining and will eventually go to zero, where, I mean, one day, you know, BlackRock is going to go to Coinbase and say, hey, you know, we need 1 million Bitcoin. And they're going to say, sorry, we don't have 1 million to sell you. You know, that's what's going to end up happening. And look at this, the Bitcoin whales, okay, maybe not the institutions, but the whales, or maybe they are. I don't know. You can include them in there. But since the start of this year, so it's only been 29 days, you could say 28 days, not counting today, they've added 76,000 Bitcoins to their bags, $3 billion worth. Okay, that's what the whales do. That's what the big boys do. They don't panic over any little drop. In fact, they love to see it. They love to see Bitcoin stay at where we are now, 42,000, for the rest of this year. You know why? Because it allows them to buy so much more versus seeing Bitcoin end up at 100,000 this year. They'd rather see us stay where it is for an entire year. For us retail investors, we would hate to see that. That would be very, very boring market. But for these big whales and institutions, they would like to see nothing more than a stable Bitcoin or even a declining Bitcoin so they can keep on loading up, right? So that's why they have been. January has been a down month for Bitcoin. And guess what? They're buying is increasing. It didn't go flat. It didn't go down. In fact, it started increasing. Why do you think? Because they're loading up while Bitcoin is down. That's how you do it. That's why I keep saying, focus on the future and continue to DCA. And that's exactly what the big boys are doing, right? Other things from a TA perspective, MACD is flipping into the positive territory. That's always good. That probably signals that, yeah, our 38,000 drop, 38.3 was bottom. So that's awesome. But long term, okay, this is what we're looking for. A launch, I guess. Bitcoin launch pad. So basically, every single cycle, you go through this kind of like ascending wedge pattern after coming down from peak, and then you blast off, right? Launch pad. And we're like right there. So what the exact date, I would say, like, you know, either at halving or a little bit past halving, that's when we get to that point, and that's when the launch is ready to begin, right? So this is why we continue to hodl, why we continue to accumulate, why we focus on the future, because the parabolic rise is coming. It's right around the corner. This is absolutely the worst time to be feared out of the market. Seriously, this would be the absolute worst time right before a halving event to be getting out of the market. If you ignored, you know, out of the 4-year cycle, again, if you had to pinpoint when you want to get in, it's like right now. Like if you're looking at this, it's like right now, right under the fire. That's when you want to get in. There's no better way to explain that. All right. Now, outside of Bitcoin having a big week, Solana's going to have a big week. There's a lot of things happening right now. Okay. A lot of craziness happening with the WEN token, right? So Solana's volume, I'm going to show you guys. Solana's volume is blowing up right now. Blowing up for a couple reasons, because of memes. Number one, now the hottest one is WEN. Okay, so airdrops are still happening, but WEN is skyrocketing to the moon right now, even though it came out. It debuted at a very high market cap already, but still people don't care. People are loving it right now. So that's one factor. Okay. You know, Solana right now is being driven by memes. We know that. Okay. WIF is still very popular. Myro is still very popular. Now you have WEN. Of course, you have Bonk still. And then you have like a dozen of other ones. They're all doing very, very well, right? So Solana is definitely being driven by them. But the more interesting thing, I would say, not more interesting, but equally as interesting, is what's happening with one of their dexes and overall dex volume. A lot of you guys know that Jupiter is going to be airdropping soon, in a couple of days. There's not much you can do about it. The snapshot has already been taken. It's not like you could get more Jupiter tokens at this point, but because of all the meme craziness, Jupiter's volume is skyrocketing, okay? It's skyrocketing so much so that their volume is even above Uniswap, the de facto DEX that we have in the space. Look at that 24-hour volume, 480 million, above Ethereum's 400 million. And the funny thing is, right afterwards, Orca, that's also a Solana-based DEX. And it doesn't, I'm surprised Radium is not up here, right? And that's above Uniswap's Arbitrum DEX and above PancakeSwap BSC, right? So right now, you can see DEXs are going crazy, the Solana-based DEXs. And Jupiter, because it's so hyped up, when they do airdrop, you know, I think the tokens are going to do very, very well. Kind of like, you know, Jitto. Jitto airdropped and it was a big splash. Okay, the tokens did really well. It pumped up. It came down a little bit, but still it's hovering quite a lot. People got airdropped thousands of dollars for free. Jupiter will probably do the same thing. It might even do better. It might do even better because of all the volume it's getting right now. And some guaranteed boost is going to be coming from like MEXC and other exchanges that will be listing it as soon as they airdrop, right? So that is coming in a couple of days. That is coming in a couple of days. So I think Jupiter and also the memes will drive Solana upwards this week. And also, if you look at some of the volume, look at this. Active addresses on Solana, this was on Friday, is more than Bitcoin and Ethereum combined. That's how much, I guess the meme craziness is driving, how much volume it's driving to Solana. It has more active addresses than Bitcoin and Ethereum combined, okay? That is pretty staggering stat if you ask me. That's more than double of Ethereum. And if you look at DEX volume, right? No surprise, Solana is number one, above Ethereum, above Arbitrum, BSC, and Avalanche, right? Because I just mentioned Jupiter, Radium, Orca, they're all exploding right now. So, again, I think this week could be a big week for Solana. I think this is going to be an absolutely huge week huge year for Solana. I think they're going to do very well. And all the things within the Solana's ecosystem right now is looking pretty darn good. Pretty darn good. So we'll see. That is also coming later this week. All right, guys. That is pretty much it. Let's do some Q&A. All right. Good morning, everyone. Let me scroll through the comments or chat. Alex, good morning. Skipping Stones, good morning. Ted, good morning from Union, South Carolina. Skitty cow. Philip asked Myro or Whiff. I like Myro better, but I'm biased because I hold Myro and I don't hold Whiff. But I think Whiff is just, I don't know. I think they're both gonna do well. I think both right now, both Myro and Whiff have dumped a lot because I think everyone's trying to FOMO into when, but I think they're all gonna do well. And eventually, when is gonna cool off and the money's gonna flow back into Myro and Whiff, and then everything. Those of you guys that watched my Sunday video, it was very low turnout because I know it's football season, everyone's watching the games, but you guys should watch it. But one of the things I said was in previous cycles you have like one or two standouts in terms of meme, and this cycle I think it's gonna be very different. I think we're gonna have multiple standouts, multiple memes hit above $1 billion market cap, right? And it'll generate life-changing wealth for a lot of people. It's still a gamble. It's still very risky. But I do think this cycle is going to be different from previous cycles. And one way is with memes. And even, chains and foundations are supporting them, right? Look at what Avalanche is doing. I think Solana is eventually going to come out and say the same thing. They're going to support. Polygon is probably come out and say the same thing. When you get official support of a foundation, that's huge. Anyways, if you didn't watch my Sunday walk videos on Cryptos R Us Plus, if you have time today, go and check it out. I think it was a good one. I dropped a lot of good bombs in that video. P.S. I bought ETH at 22.85. Do you think I get out now and wait for lower price or just hold? Of course, don't. It's such a silly question. It went down by $40. Okay. So I don't know how many you bought. I'm just going to assume that you bought one or less. That means you lost $40. unrealized loss. You don't actually lose it until you trade it, until you actually sell it. And, you know, it's so small and insignificant, you are scaring yourself out in the market. If you're going to be second guessing yourself every single time it dips less than 1% for you, then you're going to do very poorly in this market. Learn how to hodl, learn how to DCA. If you bought Ethereum, it's for a good reason. If you believe in it, then continue to DCA into it over time. Don't rush into things. Heavy on Bonk. Yeah, I think Bonk will do well. Bonk will do well. We gotta give it time. You gotta give it time, because right now with all the other memes on Solana getting so much traction, I think Bonk is gonna have a hard time breaking a billion and staying above for a while until the market really heats up. But right now, the money is flowing from Bonk into some of these others. But I have no doubt that Bonk will do very well in the market, in the upcoming bull market. How long has Gary Gensler got left at SEC? I don't know. Who knows? He might be on his way out. Well, if we got a new president, then for sure he's on his way out. That's in November, but I don't know. Maybe he resigns beforehand. He's been taking nothing but L's recently. A lot of pressure. So he might be taking a cushy job at BlackRock or Fidelity soon. Crypto Sniper Gaming. Myro's down but looks to be ready for a bounce up. I think so. Right now, I think both Myro and Whiff both took a big dip because of when. So Whiff is under 300 million. Myro is 118 million. And when is like 300 million or something like that. Oh, no. 156. So it's not that big yet, but it's still going up. I think the money's just going to Wen right now. I stayed out of Wen because it was already so high when it debuted, and plus it like debuted at there's this nasty spike dump. So I stayed out of Wen. That might change, but I'm out of Wen right now. Stephen Hobbs, Sol will be number 3 by the end of the cycle when challenge ETH for number 2 then. I think after this, I mean, I've said this. It seems unbelievable, but I'm going to stay with it. I think Solana's going to flip Ethereum by the end of this year. I really do think so. I mean, you look at what's going on right now. I always talk about the fundamentals of Bitcoin, right? Like everything that you can measure from a network's perspective, Bitcoin's fundamentals keeps on rising and getting stronger despite it not being at all-time high. Solana is the same thing. There's many metrics, daily metrics, weekly metrics that show Solana has already surpassed Ethereum. Now Ethereum, you know, they're not sitting idle. They're still trying to upgrade, and they have the help of all the L2s, right? Like Arbitrum Optimism. So you could say that those are extensions of Ethereum, but Ethereum metrics itself, in terms of like active addresses and DEX volume and NFT volume and even stablecoin volume, you know, Solana surpasses all of those right now, being at 42 billion versus 270 billion, right? I think I'm gonna stand by it. It's only the first month of this year. My thing is this year you go see Solana slowly catch more and more up to Ethereum, and by the end of this year it will surpass it. Evergrande is being liquidated according to, you know, China is forcing Evergrande to liquidate. And they're trying to stop short selling too because too many people are short selling Evergrande and their entire stock market. So I don't think China's not doing very well right now. Let's just put it that way. Oh, I don't know. I don't really follow football, but I guess the script of 49ers versus Ravens is out the window. Um, I don't know. I have not been following, so I can't say. I can't say who's better, but I'll probably go with Kansas City. Do you think Radium will fall a bit once Jupiter goes live? It could be, but Jupiter is a DEX aggregator, so it actually uses Orca and Radium. So I don't know. Radium is not doing all that hot right now. 300 million. Orca is at close, 285, right? I think Jupiter is going to debut probably around there, 300 to 500 million. It might even, yeah, it might open at like 500 million. So I guess we'll see. But right now, all the hype is on Jupiter. I don't talk about the Bears. I never watch Bears games because every time I do, I get so aggravated and so mad that it ruins my day. So I just stop watching and I stop paying attention because I know that they're not going to do anything and go anywhere. I don't. I get so mad watching Bears games, especially when they play Green Bay. Um, yep, Jupiter surpassed Uniswap even. That's kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy. Why is everyone talking about Taylor Swift? I get mad watching Cowboys. I know everyone gets pissed off watching Cowboys. I love the like the clips of people like punching their TVs after watching Cowboys lose in the playoffs because they never go anywhere. I feel the same frustration, but you know, here's the thing: Bears don't even make the playoffs. Like they're so bad; they're not even in contention every year. So, um, but yeah, the 1 year where they really had a shot against the Colts and they just totally blew it. Hester even had an open touchdown run back when Devin Hester was the god. And even with him, the Bears couldn't win. That was when I gave up hope on the Bears altogether, forever. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Jupiter Snapshot has been taken already. I remember reading that it was like a month ago or maybe several months ago. I don't think if you use it now, you're going to get any airdrop. But maybe I'm wrong on that. I thought for sure Jupiter already did their snapshot. Well, maybe not. Here, it says swap as set date for the first of 4 rounds. Maybe not all 4 rounds have been snapshotted. Um, let's see. It doesn't say. Maybe what I read was like the first round. Maybe the other rounds have not been, maybe have not been snapshotted. You know what? I'm going to do the more research tonight and tell you guys. Because if it is true the next 3 rounds of airdrops have not been snapshotted, then it's a really, 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 really big motivation factor for people to just use Jupiter over Radium and Orca. Yeah, I think it's over already. I'm pretty sure it's over. What will Matic hit this cycle? You know, I'm a little disappointed over Matic. Not going to lie. Matic should be doing better um, than what it has been doing. But, you know, it could pick up. It could pick up. Matic is doing their transition to 2.0. Right? They still have a lot of brands. Still a lot of partnerships. Pushing their ZK EVM. Still waiting for them to gain that momentum. They should be, honestly, they should be like at number 10, right behind Avalanche. That's where they should be, but they're at 14. Rob, I don't know how I feel about that. Almost every major sports team is like in the city, right? And I don't know how I feel about that, but it will, I guess, relieve congestion. Fab Infotech Solutions, what a name. It's very obvious you're a Solana pusher. Yeah, because I believe in it. And I hold a large bag of Solana because I believe in it. It's like you pushing your company, Fab Infotech, and then me coming into your live stream and saying, well, it's obvious you're a Fab Infotech Solutions pusher. Of course. Because I believe in it. Doesn't mean that you have to believe in it. So I don't get your point. You're probably mad because you hold a lot of ETH, right? And you're trying to defend your bag of ETH. That's the people that get really pissed off at me and my views are the people that are like holding the bags of other things. And that's fine. That's fine. Solana and Stacks are both making it hard for ETH to continue to be number two. Yeah, you know that's another truth bomb that I dropped in my Sunday video is BRC20. I think a lot of people are overlooking BRC20. That's why I'm personally investing in a lot of these pre-seed rounds and seed rounds for BRC20 stuff because DeFi in Bitcoin is so new, so new. Um, and right now it's kind of like you could like view them as like, oh, it's a fad, you know, maybe it's a little hot right now, but they're not really going to catch on. I don't know, it could really catch on. um so if it does, it's going to take more dominance away from Ethereum. And yeah, so just another thing to watch out for. Christopher, hey George, why does Coinbase BTC go down by thousands yet we're still staying around 407,000 exchanges constantly? It's not constantly. If you look at overall, it's dropping, but you know, they balance themselves. I've seen it during bull runs where you see the Coinbase premium shoot up to the moon. Just Coinbase. And everyone else is like steady. It's because they ran out. They actually ran out. So they would have to buy from another exchange. And I'm pretty sure these exchanges, they buy from each other, right? When they get low and so forth. So um, that's the reason they balance out. Silly questions. Why no one talks about Coin X? Why is Coin Y pumping? What? I don't know. Why do you not talk about ICP ever? I don't like it. Because I don't like insane clown posse, and I think they're too centralized. It's okay though, because there's 2 million other coins. Just because I don't like it doesn't mean you don't have to like it. If you like it, then it's great. If you believe in ICP, then it doesn't matter what I think about ICP, right? Continue to hold on DCA, that's the thing. That's the point of having 2 million coins. You have a lot of options. Did you own refrigerator Perry G.I. Joe? No, I never got into G.I. Joes. Never. I don't know. That's one like trend. Yeah, to be honest, in the 80s and 90s, I didn't get into a lot of things. Other than like basketball. What do you think about TRX? I mean Tron. I will never touch anything that Justin Sun is involved with. That includes the meme. I guess, you know, people were shilling like, oh, Byte is so hot because Justin Sun is in there. I said it's going to collapse. Anything he touches will collapse. He was SBF before SBF, and somehow, because he was not in the US, he hasn't been like caught. But he has done so many shady things. Like, just stay away from anything that Justin Sun has his fingers into. How much Sol do you need to be a millionaire? Sol is looking like ETH in 2020. You know, I honestly think Sol could be at $1,000 by the end of this year. This year, not even 2025. So, if you take a million and divide it by 1,000, how many do you need? 10,000? 10,000 Sol? George, I'm noticing Schiller's always ask the same questions over and over. Yeah, welcome to my life. And I know, and I see the names. Some of these people say the same thing every single stream, and sometimes I can't take it, so I time them out or man them. I try not to, but yeah, they come in here and they're just shilling their things, asking the same questions. Like, why don't you like ICP every single day? Or why don't you like Cadena every single day? Welcome to my life. API 3, that's been out for a while. I honestly don't know why. It has been coming up, but not that much. I mean, Pyth is the biggest competitor to Chainlink if you're looking for an Oracle play, but API 3 has been around for a while. Aren't they the one that Cardano uses? I think so. No, no. I thought Cardano used them. Cardano uses their own, or one of their own projects. But yeah, as for oracles, I mean, this looks impressive, like they're working with all the big chains, but so does Pyth, and so does Chainlink. Chainlink's works with everyone. So I don't know. Not sold. Black Sun. Someone sent him a bag. I don't know. There was a Byte Schiller in here that kept saying, well, Justin Sun is involved. And I'm like, if he's involved, then you should not be involved. Pizza Mike, I appreciate that. Type the question 10 times and no reaction. So yeah. Okay. Well, I just reacted to your statement. I think if you did G7 Films, I think if you did an interview with the Block Runners, that'd be dope. You and them are my crypto people. I've never heard of Black Runners. Well, if you're fans of them, you could ask them to reach out because I don't know who they are. Rand and Banter are getting heat over Satoshi VX. I don't know. I don't know their involvement in Satoshi VM. I think Miles maybe was involved, but he's leaving. I don't know what's going on with that project. I just know this. I was asked about it a month ago, and someone was stating, well, what do you think about Satoshi VM? And then they listed like 100 different guys that were involved with it. I'm like, I know the game. I know what gets pushed behind the scenes, right? I said that in my Sunday video yesterday. Again, you guys need to watch my Sunday video yesterday. It's actually really good. I know when like certain projects are trying to push and I need to reach out to everyone, right? But sometimes when you have a project that's pushed by too many influencers at once, it's a red flag. There's just too many people in it. So because of that, I always stayed away. I've never looked into it. I don't know. I don't know. I just know some controversy over Ape Terminal kept a lot of the tokens. They over exaggerated things. The gains, and I don't know what else is going on with it. If there's vulnerability with the code, I have not kept up. But I just know that people that are involved with it are getting some heat. That's it. Is Thorchain and Thor Swap legit? Thorchain is definitely legit. Thor Swap, I'm assuming it's legit because it's the DEX on Thorchain. I was able to swap a little amount of ETH for BTC native token as a tester. Took 30 minutes for a transaction. Still nervous to swap a bigger amount. Thorchain has been around for a long time. Very, very long time. So I would say they're pretty legit. I never used Thor Swap though. Can't you just swap within Thorchain? Or is that their own? That might be their own. Or maybe not. Yeah, I think they're just a DEX aggregator. So they live on ThorSwap. They're a DEX aggregator, so they're definitely not part of the team or the chain. But they're getting, they're getting their liquidity from Uniswap, SushiSwap, Uniswap, Penguin, 1inch, Matcha, and many others. Why can't you just do it through Thorchain? I thought they have their own. Yeah, if you go to Thorchain, they have their own swap. So you would just, okay. Well, maybe they don't. No, they don't. They're the liquidity provider. So yeah, I guess you do. Well, if they list ThorSwap on their own page as one of the premier swap providers, then yeah, I think that's pretty trustworthy. Stacks price prediction. I think Stacks will do very well because BRC20. Stacks is, I think they're set. They're really set. Stacks in 2021 didn't do all that hot because again, not a lot of programmable dApps on top of Bitcoin. But this cycle could be very different. This cycle could see a boom in DeFi and tokenization and swaps and everything else for BRC20 on top of Bitcoin. Yeah. So I think swaps will do very well. Mint Layer mainnet is live. Hope they do well. Well, they're part of the growing Bitcoin ecosystem too. I don't know why my phone is so loud. All right. Why isn't Cosmos doing better given the Ordinals edition? I mean, a lot of chains, not just Cosmos, but what? Avalanche, Near, Polkadot, they all have, they all adopted Ordinals. So, or, yeah, no, inscriptions, not Ordinals, inscriptions. So, yeah, it's kind of weird with some of these chains because they have their own token standards already, and adding inscriptions is bringing another token standard to them. I don't know if they're going to do well on some of these other chains, but obviously it's doing well for Bitcoin because of the BRC. Because of BRC 20, you get this whole boom of DeFi on top of Bitcoin. For me, though, I personally still would like to see Bitcoin being a store value and still a medium exchange. I don't know if doing all the DeFi stuff on top of Bitcoin, which Bitcoin maxis, some love it, some hate it. You do have this problem with congestion, right? So hopefully that never becomes such an issue where congestion on top of Bitcoin becomes so ridiculously expensive. Hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully a lot of it could be offloaded to a layer 2 and not have the same problems of, say, Ethereum. All trash, buy a Toyota or Lexus. Lexus interior is like 20 years behind the Mercedes interior. That's the problem. But it is more reliable for sure. All right. Rob, you've been asking about Scallop for like 30 minutes. So I'm going to check it out for you. Let's see. 1 year. Came out last February. Hasn't really gone anywhere. Digital money simplified. Scallop banking. Neobanking tailored to your lifestyle, merging innovation, convenience, financial freedom. EU bank accounts. Your everyday bank account, FX remittance, multi-currency wallet. And you got cards. This is definitely something I won't be getting into. Yeah, a crypto bank and crypto, credit cards or debit cards. Just not my thing. Not my thing at all. So they could do very well, but not my thing. So sorry. Christopher Summers, I appreciate that. Thank you. Do you consider all coins a meme? No. No. Like Scallop is not a meme. A meme is a meme. You could tell it's a meme. It's silly and it doesn't do anything, right? Like other coins, they may have nothing developed, but they're not a meme. They could just be a complete shitcoin. How Sung Ji, I think you're asking if Say is the next Solana. I don't think it's the next Solana, but it could do very well in the market. Okay, I think it's up and coming. It's within the Cosmos ecosystem. I think it could do very well. Retro Bill bought my Sol, ADA, a full Bitcoin at the same time. Sol is doing well, earning more than even Bitcoin, and ADA is underwater. Yeah, unfortunately, that's the name of the game right now. Cardano is just not really moving, but it will. It will. It's still hanging in there, but it's not moving. Bitcoin, a little steady, a little sideways movement. That's okay, consolidating, but Sol is picking up again, so that's good. Yeah, it's just, it makes sense. All the hype is on Solana right now. All the traction is there. All right, guys. To conclude, big week. This is going to be a big week, I think. I think it's going to be a big week. We have Chair Powell speaking, which could be very dovish, right? But more importantly, grayscale dumping has slowed down. We have net inflows now. Well, this week we'll see. But if grayscale continues to slow down their selling and others continue to buy up, because Friday was a huge buy day for BlackRock and Fidelity. If they continue to buy up and grayscale stops selling, it's going to be a massive, massive week this week. But besides that, there's so many other things going on. They're all very, very positive, guys. So make sure you stay strong. Ignore the FUD. Continue to hold on DCA, right? That's how you win at a game of crypto. And as for Solana, continues to do well. Now you got another meme that's doing very well right now. When? But more importantly, Jupiter Dex, they're going to have their airdrop. And that's going to be pretty big as well. So we'll see. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. But I highly, highly recommend you guys go check out my Sunday walk video on Cryptos R Us Plus. I said a lot there that I think you guys would be very interested in. Things that I brought up today that I mentioned yesterday. So go watch it. All right. Have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.